Hey guys, tonight we begin with the Greek mythology story about the tragic love of Orpheus and Eurydice and their whole life of relation. Before going into their love story, hit that subscribe button and like the video if you really vibing the content. Let me know in comments where you are watching from and what time it is there. On a day drenched in golden light, as Eurydice wandered through the grass, her bare feet brushing over stone and petal, she stepped upon a serpent hidden beneath the shade. He journeyed to the underworld not as a warrior, but as a lover, not with a sword, but with a song. Through caves choked in silence, through mists that tasted of forgetting, he walked. He wandered, silent, through the hills and fields, where once they had walked together. He sang only to the wind and to the memory of her. And in that silence, the legend of Orpheus began. His story, like his music, did not fade. It moved through generations, like a hush at dusk. A tale, not just of love, but of loss, of the limits of hope, of the cost of looking back, but also a story of how even a broken heart can sing. The living do not enter that realm, but Orpheus did. And as he played, the gates of Hades opened. Rest in the melody of what was, and drift into the dream of what may still come. Cerberus, the monstrous hound with 3 heads, lay down in sleep. The rivers of the dead grew still. Even the tormented ceased their wailing to hear that melodira with grief, radiant with hope. Before the throne of Hades and Persephone he played, no words, only song, a plea in music, a promise in sorrow. He asked not for power, only for love, for one more moment, for one more chance. The gods, unmoved by armies, bent their heads, and Hades, cold lord of the realm of shadows, agreed. Eurydice could return, but there was one condition. Orpheus must lead her out of the underworld. She would follow, silently, and he must not look back. Not until they both reached the world of the living. It bit her once, swift cruel land. She collapsed into the arms of the earth. Her breath fled, her limbs stilled, and before Orpheus could reach her, she was gone. The world darkened. The notes of Orpheus's lyre turned hollow. He sang to the skies, to the winds, to the gods, begging them to return her. But no answer came. Grief clung to him like shadow, and silence followed him like a second skin. Yet love, when true, does not surrender to death. It dares to walk beyond it. Getting on your bed and take a deep breath. Here we go, in the soft folds of myth and memory. Beneath the ancient skies of Greece, there lived a man whose music could charm the stars. As they neared the final passage, as the sunlight began to spill like gold through the rocks, doubt crept in like smoke. Was she there? Had they deceived him? Could he bear to walk forward, never knowing, never seeing her face again? And so, with only a few steps to go, Orpheus turned. And in that moment, just a breath, just a glance, he saw her. Her eyes wide, her arms reaching, her lips parting to say his name, and then she was gone, pulled back into the darkness, lost again, forever. Orpheus's scream echoed through the stones, but there was no mercy left to give, not even from the gods. His name was Orpheus, the son of Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, and Apollo, the god of music and light. Orpheus was not merely gifted, he was transcendent. From the moment he first plucked the golden strings of his lyre, the world leaned in to listen. Birds paused mid-flight. Rivers slowed in their courses. Trees turned their leaves to catch each note, as if the earth itself sighed with every melody he played. His music was not just sound, it was a feeling, a presence, a gentle wind, that stirred even the coldest of hearts. And with his music came stories. Some say that when he sang, mountains would bend closer and the dead would weep for life again. Orpheus did not sing for glory. He sang because he must be, because the notes lived inside him, whispering truths too tender to be spoken aloud. In the prime of his life, when the sun kissed the fields of Thrace and the sea sparkled with endless light, Orpheus met her. Eurydice, a dryad, Dacia, nymph of the forest, whose laughter danced like wind through willow leaves. She was quiet joy, the kind that hums beneath the breath, the kind you feel in your bones before you even know her name. When Orpheus saw her, his music changed. It grew softer, sweeter, as though every string remembered something it had been waiting to sing. Their love was not loud. It didn't crash like waves or roar like fire. It was the hush of twilight, the warmth of sunlight filtered through olive branches. Orpheus would play for her in the meadows while she wove flowers through her hair. They spoke in glances and silence, in hands brushing and hearts beating in rhythm. The world, which had once seemed vast and echoing, folded itself around them like a gentle cloak. But love, even the purest, is not spared by fate. And so Orpheus descended, so he walked, his steps slow, heart pounding. Behind him nothing, no sound, no breath. But she was there, he believed it, he hoped, and yet he returned alone. The world had not changed, but he had. He no longer sang in the courts of kings. He no longer played beneath the trees. Sleep now, gentle listener. Let the story hold you. You are not alone in your longing. You are not the first to look back. Time passed, though Orpheus no longer counted the days. The seasons turned, the flowers bloomed and faded, but he remained quiet, a figure wrapped in grief, walking beneath the trees where once he and Eurydice had laughed. The villagers whispered of him, some said he had lost his mind to sorrow. Others said he had glimpsed something sacred, something no man was meant to see. In time, Orpheus wandered into the wild hills where the Maenads dwelled. They were followers of Dionysus, god of wine and ecstasy, beings who lived in frenzy and dance, who celebrated life in all its chaotic splendor. There they buried Orpheus beneath the soft soil, beneath trees that whispered lullabies to the wind. They had watched him love, grieve, descend into shadow, and return with only music left in his hands. And in a rare moment of reverence, they chose to honor him. Zeus reached into the heavens and took the lyre of Orpheus, raising it high into the sky. It became a constellation lyre, forever shining, forever silent, a reminder of beauty born of sorrow. Nightingales began to sing in the branches above his grave, their songs more tender than any heard before. A delicate arc of light in the northern sky, strung like a harp of silver across the void. And perhaps, if the night is quiet and your heart still, you might feel something stir. A note, soft and familiar, like the echo of love you thought you'd forgotten. That is Orpheus. That is his gift. Listen to the stars above. Let the notes of lyra guide you to sleep. For in dreams, as in myths, nothing is truly lost. Everything beloved remains. They say the birds still sing there to this day, and that the earth itself remembers. When they found Orpheus, silent and still among the trees, they mocked him. Why did he mourn so long? Why did he not sing with joy, embrace life as they did? They demanded he join them in revelry. But Orpheus refused. His heart had no room left for drunken delight. His soul had seen too much. As Orpheus rests beneath the trees, let your body rest upon the earth. You have walked beside him through loss and melody, through longing and the silence that follows. You are not alone in your grief. You are not alone in your remembering. There is a music beneath all things, a pulse that continues even when we stop to mourn. Feel it now in your chest, in the rhythm of your breath, in the quiet between each beat. Let it calm you. But Orpheus did not explain. He wandered with his lyre, cradled like a fragile memory, and his music changed, a gentle reminder that love, even when broken, still sings, that music born of sorrow can soothe not just others, but ourselves, and that even in the darkest places, even beyond death, beauty survives. It was no longer the vibrant celebration of life. It was something softer, slower, a reflection of the shadow love can leave behind. When he played now, animals still gathered, the wind still held its breath, but the sound was filled with longing, a song that made your heart ache without knowing why. One morning, as the mist curled low through the fields, Orpheus sat beside a stream. He dipped his fingers into the cool water and watched the ripples dance away, like moments that could never be retrieved. Then he played, and as the melody floated over the stream, he closed his eyes, and Eurydice came to him not in body, but in memory. She stood among the trees, as she had that day in the meadow, sunlight in her hair. He did not reach for her, he only watched. In dreams and song, she remained, and perhaps that was enough. Yet, not all the world was kind to sorrow. Offended, enraged by his quiet rejection, the Maenads tore his body apart in a storm of fury. They ripped the music from his hands, his voice from his throat. But even as his head was cast into the river Hebrus, it did not stop singing. His lips still whispered Eurydice's name. His lyre still floated beside him, strings humming softly against the current. Down the river they traveled, through reeds and silence, until they reached the island of Lesbos. And there, poets say, his spirit lingered. There the Muses wept. The Muses, daughters of memory, gathered the remnants of their brother and carried them to the base of Mount Olympus. But the story did not end. The gods, in their quiet realm above the stars, looked down upon the life and loss of Orpheus. Now, when you look to the stars, you may see it. Let your breath soften now. Let the weight of the day fall away. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice is not a tale of defeat, it is a hymn. Close your eyes, sleep now. Beyond the songs and silences, beyond the echo of Orpheus's final notes, there lies something even deeper memory. Not just the memory of a name or a face, but the memory etched into the soul. That quiet space where love lingers, even after the form it clung to has vanished. Her name became sacred among forest groves and flowering meadows. To some, she became a symbol of the gentleness of life. How fleeting it is, how beautiful. The dryads whispered her name as they danced in moonlight, and the flowers that bloomed without cause were said to be her smile, blooming again. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. You, too, are part of this story. Not because you've walked through the underworld, but because you've felt longing. Let it comfort you, even if your heart feels heavy. You are not alone. You never were, because you've dreamed of someone waiting just beyond reach, because you've carried love like a flame through shadow. No one can say for certain what became of her soul. The world, for a moment, has hushed to hear the final chords of Orpheus's song. It is the willingness to follow that love, even when it takes you to dark places. It is the choice to remember, even when it hurts. It is the courage to sing, even when no one hears. Perhaps they too think of lost love, of what could have been, of faces fading in memory. And perhaps, as they listen now, they find the same comfort you do, that love never truly leaves us, that the ones we carry in our hearts remain part of our story. And when the story doesn't end the way you hoped, it is the strength to keep the melody alive. But one gentle story says this, that after many quiet centuries, Hades himself, moved by the depth of Orpheus's love, allowed Eurydice to return not to the world above, but to Orpheus himself. In the quiet fields of Elysium, where the blessed dead wander, she found him once more. It was in this space that Orpheus now lived, neither fully of the earth nor the underworld. To ache, to remember. You are allowed to let go and to hold on. And tonight, you are allowed to rest. His spirit wandered the dreams of those who mourned, offering not answers, but comfort. With this story wrapped around you like a blanket woven from ancient songs, he had become part of the collective hush that follows every goodbye, the silence that cradles our longing. Some say he sang still, not with his lips, but with the stars, that when the wind sighs through trees in the blue hush before dawn, it is his voice. Others believe that the river Hebros carries his final lullaby to the sea, repeating it softly as the waves kiss the shore. But perhaps the truest place where Orpheus remained was in the hearts of those who had ever lost something precious, and found solace in remembering. Eurydice, too, was not forgotten. They say she placed her hand on his shoulder, and he turned not in fear this time, but in joy. And there, with no more conditions, no more journeys, no more loss, they stayed together in peace. Let that vision rest in your heart now. Imagine them not as statues or myths, but as two souls reunited in a world beyond pain, walking hand in hand through tall grass that never withers, beneath skies that never storm. Her laugh soft in the air, his music a gentle thread between them, a love that had traveled through death and darkness to find itself whole again. And now, as you lie in the hush of your own room, let your breath mirror that peace. What does it mean, really, to love someone like Orpheus loved Eurydice? It is not just the warmth and joy. Tonight, let that melody be your lullaby. Let it rise and fall like the tide of your breath. All across the world, others lie in beds like yours, hearts open to dreams and old stories, hoping to find something familiar in the hush of night. You are allowed to feel. Let your eyelids grow heavy. Let your body soften. There is nothing more you must do. Nowhere else you need to be. Just here, just now. The stars are listening. The trees outside your window are still. Sleep in that silence. Sleep in that love. Sleep knowing that even the deepest sorrow can bloom into beauty, and that even the quietest lullaby can echo through time. Let us drift now deeper into the folds of this timeless tale beyond love and loss, into the world shaped by myth, where every whisper holds 1,000 echoes. As we return to the memory of Orpheus and Eurydice, imagine the skies above ancient Greece, a velvet canopy, twinkling with stars so ancient they witnessed every chapter of their story. Before Eurydice, before sorrow changed his tune, his melodies soothed restless minds and reminded weary travelers of home, not just to enchant, but to save, not just to mourn, but to uplift. It's said that even the great ship Argo sought Orpheus's music to protect them on the sea. Perhaps you have seen it before, on a page, in a painting, or even in a whispered retelling passed down by someone who simply loved the way it made them feel. Imagine yourself beneath a canopy of trees, the earth cool beneath you, the leaves whispering secrets only the night can hear. Orpheus once lay in such a place, his lyre resting beside him, his fingers trailing over the strings, not in performance, but in memory. Each note, a whisper, each pause, a sigh. That's the truth of myth. It isn't only ancient, it is eternal, alive in each telling, in each listening, in the hearts that let it in. For among the crew of Jason and the Argonauts, Orpheus stood his lyre, a safeguard against the siren's fatal call. When those sea maidens sang their haunting songs, luring sailors to their doom, Orpheus answered, not with silence, but with a song of his own, brighter, purer, filled with light. Whether as memory, spirit, or dream, she was never far. The bond they shared, woven in music, tempered by loss, was stronger than time. In the silence between stars, in the hush before dawn, it lingered, and the men who might have plunged into the depths stood fast and sailed onward. The pain softened. There are no clocks in Elysium, no deadlines or departures, not with certainty, but with serenity. Let your thoughts wander where they will, through myth, through memory, through dreams. You are safe here, just endless peace and the echo of a song that finally found its end. You are among stars and stories, and just like Orpheus's music, your presence is a note in the great lullaby of the world. Among those stars lies Lyra, the constellation of Orpheus's lyre, and it still glows softly in the northern night. Each point of light, a note, a chord, a reminder. When he met Eurydice, the nature of his music changed. It deepened. The joy he once shared with crowds became private, sacred, saved for twilight walks and meadowed afternoons. His love was not a grand display, was a hush, a shared breath, a pause in the world. And when she was lost, that pause became permanent. He could no longer play for joy, only for remembrance. Long ago, when Orpheus still walked among men, his music was not confined to grief. It was a gift that once healed hearts and mended rifts. Such was his power. And yet, even a heart that heals others can find itself wounded. But the world, ever moving, ever turning, does not pause for sorrow. And so, the story continued to ripple outward, touching those who never knew Orpheus, but who felt the tremble of his story in the songs that followed. Poets, centuries later, would write of him. Sculptors would carve his gaze into marble. Painters would try to capture the moment he turned the heartbreak, the longing, the regret. Even now, in quiet museums and candlelit libraries, his story waits. Let this story fill your breath now, soft and slow. Let your limbs grow heavier, your thoughts quieter. And across the veil of shadow and light, Eurydice listened. As you drift, imagine their reunion in Elysium again. No longer shadows, but light. No longer grasping, but holding. The past forgiven. Let this peace be yours now. You have followed this story with an open heart, and it rewards you, not with answers, but with rest. Sleep, gentle dreamer. Now, let us continue deeper into the realm where myth and dream entwine, where memory is softer than silk, and every heartbeat echoes like a harp-string through time, as the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice continues to shimmer through the fabric of history. It reminds us that stories are not made only of events, but of emotions, of what we carry long after the words have ended. And so we carry them now into the next hush of night. Long after the final song, long after the stars absorbed the sorrow and love of Orpheus's lyre, there were still those who whispered their names in hushed temples and shadowed corners, across ancient seas and forgotten mountains. Their story passed through lips and firelight. Children would ask their elders, "Why did he turn?" And the answers were never the same. Some said he was weak, some said he was human, but others said he loved so deeply he could not bear another step without knowing. Whatever pain or fear you carry tonight, know that you are not the first. You hear it in the rustling of the trees, in the hush before sleep, in the tears you did not expect to cry. It is there, quiet but constant, reminding you that beauty does not fade just because it is out of sight, to love without certainty, to walk forward even when you're unsure, and if you falter, to look back. You are not less for it. You are simply human, like Orpheus, like Eurydice, part of a love story older than memory, and yet as fresh as this very breath, that even in ancient myths, even in tales told for thousands of years, there are echoes of your own heart. Let it carry you gently toward dreams, where perhaps you will walk again through those ancient fields. Music in the air, hand in hand with all you've loved and lost. The names may change, but the ache, the hope, the love, they remain. In this way, Orpheus became not a hero of triumph, but a hero of feeling, not perfect, but real. She looked at him with eyes full of love. That moment, their final glance was not one of blame. Picture a night sky lit with silver stars, the air perfumed with olive and lavender, the hum of an ancient melody just beneath your breath. You are safe here. This is a place outside of time, outside of sorrow, a place where stories hold your hand and guide you gently to rest. It was one of understanding. In a single look, they forgave each other, and that forgiveness is what allowed Orpheus to carry her memory with peace, not torment. It is what allowed her spirit to wait for him, not wander alone. And in his imperfection, his story became one we understand. For who among us has not looked back, who has not felt the ache of doubt, the sharp pull of fear that we might lose the very thing we love by not turning to see if it's still there? And what of Eurydice? Her part in the story is often quieter, but no less important. Imagine her steps behind Orpheus as they climbed the dark passage out of the underworld. She could not speak. She could not reach for him. All she could do was trust that he would lead her to the light, that he would believe in her presence. In that silence, in that helpless hope, she walked. That trust, that fragile, invisible thread between them was everything. And when he turned, that thread broke, but not the bond, not the love, because even in her fading, even as she slipped back into the shadows, Eurydice did not cry out in anger. Now, in the gentle cradle of this story, let your own burdens soften. Breathe in, let your shoulders fall. Orpheus's lyre may now hang among the stars, but the music is not gone. Close your eyes. Let the myth wash over you like warm rain. And as you lie here, between waking and sleep, know this: you are allowed to feel deeply. Let the darkness around you become comforting. Let it wrap you like a soft cloak. There is no danger here, only stillness, only peace. Sleep now, drift gently. The stars are singing for you. Let us settle further into the quiet, like drifting petals on a moonlit stream, carried gently towards sleep, as our story continues. The world of Orpheus and Eurydice softens into something more than myth into a mirror for our own hearts. To many, he was no longer simply the son of a muse and a god, nor merely a tragic poet who looked back too soon. No longer just the silent shadow behind Orpheus, she became the voice of longing, of quiet strength, of trust. In gardens and glades, she was remembered as the spirit of renewal, the dryad who, though taken too soon, left behind blooming memories in every hidden grove. The ancients planted flowers in her name, hoping she would return in each new spring. Let your chest rise and fall like waves on a quiet shore. Feel your body soften into the mattress, your limbs releasing the weight of the day. Nothing is asked of you here. You are simply invited to rest. He became a symbol for those who have loved and lost and still dared to create beauty. You are still. You are wrapped in the warmth of old love and the comfort of ancient words. A reminder that even in the darkest sorrow, the heart still knows how to sing. You may find yourself walking a familiar path, the one Orpheus walked through mist and shadow. But now, there is no fear, only curiosity. The passage is lit by memory, and on either side, songs bloom like flowers. You follow them, smiling. Someone remembered, someone cherished. Their love is no longer a tale we observe, but a feeling we carry about what it means to be human, to love. The stars above, the earth below, and the story within, you all agree, is time to lose, to hope again. It lives with us now, breathed in with the night air, held close like a favorite lullaby. Let it murmur to you like a mother's song. Let it wash over you in waves of calm. The world will wait, but for now, it is your time to rest, to dream, to heal. In the centuries after Orpheus's final song, his legacy became legend, and his legend became something even more tender comfort. They are gardens we return to again and again, finding new meaning each time we enter. Tonight, in this garden of sleep, Orpheus and Eurydice walk beside you. Their hands brush leaves, their steps stir the dusk. Their silence is not absence, it is grace. Eurydice, too, took on new life in the imaginations of poets and dreamers. Imagine now a gentle glade, hidden deep within a quiet forest. The sun filters down in golden threads, and the air hums softly with unseen life. A breeze stirs the leaves, and in that moment you hear it a note, just one, then another, a song, faint but full, echoing not from a lyre, but from the very earth beneath you. It is Orpheus's song, woven into root and river, into the sigh of stones and the hush of moss. Eurydice, not as a ghost, but as presence, as peace. This is the gift of stories that last. They are not bound by time. Now breathe, slow and steady. The world beyond your walls continues. Its spin cars pass on distant roads. Stars shift in the heavens. Dreams begin to stir in the minds of many. To be understood, to be reminded that even myths, especially myths, are about us. So let the story cradle you. Sleep gently, surrounded by the music of centuries. There is something timeless in a story that lives not just in words, but in the hush between them. Something eternal in the love that refuses to vanish, even when all else fades. Travelers in the hills of Thrace would speak of hearing faint melodies drifting through the olive grove's music with no source, but filled with longing and warmth. Shepherds claimed the stones sang in the twilight. Children, born generations after his death, would wake from dreams of music and light. These were not coincidences, they said. Orpheus, when at last his spirit was freed from the world of men, crossed once more into the land he had dared enter before. But this time there was no test, no trial, no bargain to strike. He had already proven his love through grief, through patience, through every aching note. These were gifts from Orpheus himself, echoes of a love that had passed beyond the world but remained near, watching, singing, soothing. They became not a story of tragedy, but of reunion, a gentle truth, told not in tears, but in rest. Their love, once cut short, was allowed to continue not loudly, but deeply. Not in sorrow now, but in calm. Not for what was lost, but for what was found again. That music surrounds you. It rocks you gently. It tells you everything will be okay. Not as flame, but as ember, steady, eternal. As the story of Orpheus and Eurydice continues to unfurl beneath the night sky, it whispers now not as a tale from long ago, but as a truth, still breathing, still waiting to be heard. Not the moment of loss, but the long, quiet afterward, the space where healing begins. Let it remind you that love endures beyond endings. That even when we feel broken, we are still capable of holding beauty, still worthy of rest. She wandered through soft grass and silver trees, always with the memory of his touch, his voice, the way his eyes searched for her in the dark. Let the story wrap itself around your shoulders like a warm shawl. There is no rush, there is no pressure, only you and this moment and the music that still plays beneath it all. Others would come and go, but she remained in her heart. She knew he would return. That love as deep as theirs was not meant to remain parted forever. Let the journey of love and memory guide you to dreams where time is kind and every soul is seen. You are held. You are safe. You are loved. In later years, after his voice had gone quiet and his lyre had fallen silent, Orpheus's presence was felt in subtle ways. And in the underworld, Eurydice was never alone. The fields of Elysium, that tranquil resting place of the blessed dead, held her gently. He walked among the trees of Elysium, and there she was, standing beneath the same tall branches where her soul had once waited. She looked up. He paused, and then nothing else needed to be said. He reached for her, and this time he did not let go, and return he did, though not as flesh and bone. The moment they met again was not grand. It did not echo with thunder or blaze with divine fire. It was soft, like the first snowfall, like a sigh. And they walked on, side by side, no longer as myth and memory, but as two souls, whole once more. So let that be the note you rest upon tonight, not sorrow, but peace. Now, close your eyes if you haven't already. Let your thoughts slow into a soft rhythm, somewhere beneath ancient trees or starlit skies. Orpheus's lyre hums softly. Rest in that. Breathe in that truth. Now let us slip even further into stillness, into the space where breath slows and heartbeats soften like petals falling on water. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice has become a lullaby in the background of your thoughts, no longer sharp, no longer sorrowful, but something tender and warm, unfolding slowly beneath your closing eyes. Orpheus walks beside her, not hurried, not searching, but simply being. And Eurydice, once a shadow in the underworld, now shines with her own light, gentle as moonlight across still water. Her presence no longer flickers, it glows. In this place, beyond time and sound, we find Orpheus and Eurydice no longer bound to the world of myth. nor trapped in the pages of memory. Imagine the hush of recognition, the way the world must have stilled when their eyes met once more in Elysium. No fear, and perhaps you hear it now, that faint melody, more feeling than sound. Even if you are waiting for something or someone, know that you are not forgotten. The universe remembers. The stars have not missed your prayers. The sky hears every whisper that is their song. Just love, returning like a long-lost echo, soft and sure. They are whole now, whole in the way light becomes whole after a long storm. You are part of this love story. You are not merely hearing it, you are resting inside it. The same longing that once pulled Orpheus into the depths lives gently inside you, not as an ending, but as a soft return. Return to yourself. Return to stillness. Return to love. Let your limbs sink deeper into the mattress, as if you are resting on the very grass of that tranquil field. The earth beneath you is soft and knowing. The night around you is kind. The same trust that carried Eurydice through the dark touches your dreams. This tale, old as the hills and deep as the rivers, recognizes you. Tonight, this story sings for you. You are worthy of peace. You are surrounded by beauty, even in the quiet, especially in the quiet. It cradles you, and it tells you you are never alone in your longing, whole in the way a melody finds its final note and rests there content. Imagine the soft lands of Elysium once more. The wind moves like silk through tall grasses, and every step echoes with the peace of eternity. There is no turning back anymore, no haunting question of what if or why. Let your lungs fill with calm. Let your exhale carry away every burden, every worry. Here, in the space between this story and your sleep, you are allowed to be weightless. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to rest. There is only presence, only now. Their path meanders softly through the groves of peace, and overhead the stars shimmer in time with their steps. The universe listens not with judgment, but with quiet reverence. It remembers their sorrow, and it honors their love. And you, dear listener, are not separate from this. Breathe in now, as if the air itself carries ancient songs. Let us pause here, in this field of quiet, and feel what Orpheus might have felt, not when he looked back, not when he wept, but in the moment he found her again. Orpheus smiles, not the smile of a man who conquered death, but of one who understands it now. But in a hush so quiet it can only be heard when your thoughts have stilled. Let your eyelids grow heavier now. Even if your own heart carries ache, know that this story holds you. Orpheus once sang for the gods, "You are safe." And so, sleep comes not as a curtain, but as a gentle tide. And now, let us slip even deeper, past myth and memory, past sorrow and song, into the gentle beyond, where dreams take root and stories breathe beside us in sleep. The tale of Orpheus and Eurydice, once filled with longing and shadows, now lingers like morning mist, soft, silver, almost weightless. You have walked far with them, through valleys of loss and over hills of hope. As your breath rises and falls, it joins the great rhythm of all things. As your heart beats, it echoes the ancient pulse that moved Orpheus to sing, that guided Eurydice through the dark. You are not apart from their story, you are within it. You have carried enough, you have walked far. Like Orpheus, you have faced the shadows. And like Eurydice, you have trusted in what you cannot see. That is courage, that is love. Your pain, your peace, your dreams, your longing it is all part of the same sacred song. It will hum through your sleep. It will linger in your bones. It will rise again when you need it most, not to remind you of loss, but to anchor you in love. Let them blink kindly down upon you, as they blinked upon Orpheus when he wandered the hills in silence. Let every word settle into your breath until even the silence feels like a lullaby. Let the night breeze be your comfort. Let your pillow cradle your dreams like the arms of someone who once held you close. And now, as we near the quiet heart of this story, let us rest with them in stillness. Imagine a grove untouched by time, where trees bend low as if to listen, and blossoms bloom with every heartbeat. They walk forward, not away from the past, but into forever, and with each step they leave behind a song. This is not a place of endings, but of gentle continuance. The soil beneath their feet pulses with warmth. There is music in everything, because love is in everything. And where there is love, there is always a song. There is nothing left to do tonight but listen to the hush, to your breath, to the distant echo of a love that endured everything. Here, Orpheus and Eurydice live in a different rhythm, and perhaps, like him, you've feared that if you look away, it will be gone. But let the story remind you, even if love seems lost, it is never truly gone. It waits in the quiet places. It lives in the remembering. It walks beside you, even when you cannot see it. No longer bound to fear or regret, their love has softened into presence. They do not speak of what was lost, nor question what could have been. Instead, they share the simple joys of eternity, walking slowly, smiling easily, touching the world with reverence. And it is in this peaceful place that the music returns, not from a lyre, but from the world itself. The wind hums low and sweet. The leaves whisper lullabies. You, too, are part of that music. Let that truth hold you now. Let your chest soften. Let your fingers uncurl. Perhaps you've been searching, just as Orpheus searched, for someone, for something, for a feeling that once was. And if you are weary of life, of longing, of carrying so much, then let this moment be your rest. Let the stars above be your witness now. You are safe, you are seen, you are enough. And though the story may be drawing to a close, its music continues. So close your eyes if you haven't already. Let the hush of the tale wrap around you like a soft blanket. Somewhere in the garden of dreams, Orpheus and Eurydice turn once more toward the stars. Let it be yours. Sleep now. And so we arrive at the edge of the tale, where stories become stars and memory fades into dream. The journey of Orpheus and Eurydice has carried us through sorrow and silence, through hope and reunion, through love so deep it defied even death. But as with all gentle things, it does not end with a crash, ends with a hush, a settling, a quiet that cradles rather than closes. Now imagine this: the heavens above the ancient world stretch wide and velvet blue, pricked with the silver of watching stars. The moon glows full and calm, and somewhere high among the constellations, the lyre of Orpheus glimmers faintly, its strings silent, its song complete. No more longing, no more doubt, just breath. Let it wander to places where petals never fall, where footsteps leave no mark, where the soul can rest unburdened. Perhaps you'll see them again, Orpheus and Eurydice, walking beneath trees that bloom with starlight. Perhaps you'll feel her hand in yours, or hear his song on the wind. Just presence, knowing that stories like this were made not to haunt you, but to hold you, to rock you gently between what was and what will be. Just love. Below, in the fields of Elysium, Orpheus and Eurydice sit side by side beneath a flowering tree, hands intertwined, their eyes closed, not in sleep, but in peace. Let each exhale carry away the worries of your day, and each inhale bring in the warmth of old stories and gentle dreams. There is no more waiting, but they are not. They are alive. They walk beside us in our quietest moments. It is the story of anyone who has ever risked loving something so much that they would walk into the unknown for it. You've felt the ache, the hope, the stillness, the quiet courage that believes we will make it back into the light even if we cannot speak, even if the road is long. Let it remind you, even if things don't end the way you wanted them to, even if love slips from your grasp for a time, it is not lost. It changes shape, it softens, it becomes part of who you are. It is the story of everyone who has had to let go and still carry the song. They rise in the lump in your throat when you remember someone you once loved. They shine in the smile of a memory that visits you unexpectedly, soft as a breeze. And in that, dear listener, there is everything. We so often think of myths as ancient things, trapped in stone, locked in books, far from the rush of modern life. Orpheus's journey is not just his own, it is yours, it is ours. And Eurydice, she is the trust that walks with us in silence, the hope that follows, even when unseen. So let this final part of the story settle into your chest like the last note of a lullaby. Tonight, let yourself drift on that thought, not in sadness, but in serenity. Let your mind float, light and untethered. Or perhaps you'll simply sleep deeply, peacefully. You are not alone in your longing. You are not strange for your sorrow. You are not weak for your remembering. You are human, and that, as Orpheus showed us, is more than enough. So breathe now, slowly. Let your ribcage rise like a tide and fall again with ease. You've come so far. You've listened with an open heart. Now let yourself feel rest. There is no more story tonight, only stillness, only calm. Let the stars guard your slumber. Let the past rest softly behind you, and let the love you carry guide you home. The lyre has played its final note. The song has faded into silence. The lovers have found their peace, and now so have you. Sleep, dear dreamer. Sleep deeply, sleep kindly, sleep in love. Good night.